Looks like we're going to be working on the Vette a little bit. So the problem is when this thing is nice and warm, it seems to want to stall. The idle's a little erratic, especially backing up. It really wants to stall. In fact, it has stalled a few times. So after searching around online on the Giggle machine, turns out it could be a bad idle air control valve. So they're cheap enough to replace. So I'm gonna put that in and see if that fixes it. So I went to the local AutoZone and I picked this up. So if anybody's wondering, my Corvette is an 86, but it's pretty heavily modified at this point. That's the part number, AC 102. I don't know, it was like 40 something bucks. I think you can get them a lot cheaper on Amazon, but I don't know if they're from Duralast. Whether that's any good, who knows. But I thought you could get them for as cheap as like $20 on Amazon. So anyways, I got a disconnect, so you're going on the other side. Looks like I got a disconnect. There's a switch that holds it on, that plugs into it, I should say. And my issue is this Corvette has a mini ram. So it's kind of like an LT1 intake. They call them mini ram, made by TPIS. And it's pretty tight down there with these lines right here. So I definitely can't get a socket on it. They say you can use a 32 millimeter socket. I do have a 32 millimeter socket, but you still can't fit it on because of these lines. So I might have to take this off so that way I can get some access under here. Maybe remove this because it's in my way. I don't want to break it. And hopefully I can get a wrench on it underneath there. We'll see. Let's give it a shot. This off maybe, right? Ooh, I don't want to drop that shit. Separate this. Come on, baby. You know you want it. Here you go. Pull this off. Get under there. Pull this off. There we go. Isn't that cool? Yeah, that's cool. Alright. Now, let me take you in here and I'll show you what I'm up against. Okay, I think we can see it. It's right there. So as you can see, it's pretty tight. Can't really get a socket on because you'll hit these lines. So let me see if I can get a wrench on it and turn it out. I know it's not on there very tight. So let's see what I got. Okay, so unfortunately, there is no way you're getting a wrench on that. So I'm gonna have to just pull the front of the throttle body off. This is a 3/16. That one out. Viola. And there she is. Put down a rag so I don't scratch everything up. And now, as you can see, I can get at it with a socket. As you can see, that thing was not held on very tight at all. So here it is. And it is pretty nasty. Okay, so here's the one I took out. As you can see, it's pretty filthy, so let's compare that to the one I just purchased. And they're about the exact same length and everything. A little different in design. So it's the same length, but you can see this one has like this spring that's kind of sticking way out. Oh, this one is a hell of a lot more compact. So I don't know if that's because this one's faulty and it's been released and it's not moving, and it's stuck. Who knows? But let's get it in, reverse everything, and see if it helps this thing idle a little better. Okay, so it comes with this little gasket. Let's get that on there. I think I just hand tighten it as much as I can, and then snug it up. Yeah, I'm not going to snug it up too much because they say I think only like 13 foot-pounds, but I'm just gonna go by feely feel. I mean, that came off really easy, the other one, so that'll about do it. Alrighty then. Back on. Okay. Well, this is obviously a pretty simple job, so hopefully this makes a difference. It's always one that's always gives you a headache to get at, right? Why is that? That one's pretty tight. Okay, so next I'll put the intake and plug everything back in, for the exception of the IAC connector, because I think what you got to do is you keep it off, turn the ignition on, turn it off, plug it in, and then start it up. But I'll go over that in a second. I might have that backwards, so bear with me. Okay, let's get this bad boy back on. Tight fit. We get it. We get it. We'll get it. The little clampy clamp back on. Okay, from what I understand, you have to plug it in and then turn the ignition on. Don't start the car, but just turn the ignition on the on position. And then while the ignition is on the on position, you come back over here and you unplug it. And then you go back to the ignition, turn the ignition off, and then plug it back in, and then you can start the car. So let's do it. Okay, so I did the whole key on, key off, and then I just plugged it back in. Let me tell you, it is not easy plugging that back in with the mini RAM. Just in case you guys have a mini RAM and you have to do this, but you can do it. So that's all nice and secure. This is all in good. So let's take it for a ride and see what we got. See if it fixed it. Okay, let's start her up first time. Ooh, that's nice. Started right away. Now, I wasn't doing that before. It would hesitate quite a bit. So that's a good sign. So from what I understand, these things have to kind of learn again. So they want you to take it for a ride. So just let it idle for a little while, and I'll take it for a ride and see how it feels. Started right up, so this, it would really drop, and I would have to feather the gas to keep it from stalling. We'll take it around the lake over here. Warm it up really good. Funny now, as the years are going on, people see it. It's starting to take a nostalgic look to it. Like, people look at it and turn their heads. Years ago, you're a dime a dozen, man. These things weren't car for a little money, I'll tell you that. Yeah, it's definitely noticeably different. So I definitely think it was that IAC valve. Idle air control, I believe it's called. Seen how dirty it was. That low coolant light to go off. Coolant's fine. So I gotta chase why that's going on. Who knows? Put a piece of black tape over it. Last time coming over here, just making this turn, it stalled out. So you can see it's holding idle, and RPM's really nice. I literally pulled over so I could stretch this thing's legs. Very happy. It would always stall out in reverse. This is good. All right, so that's going to wrap it up for this one. So if your Vette is doing that, if it's kind of idling kind of really low and kind of stalling out on you, especially in reverse, that's where I was having the most problems. I'd kind of have to like feather the throttle to keep it from stalling. And it did a few times, like I said, in reverse. So, you know, it's easy to fix, cheap, probably took 20 minutes the most. I'd recommend, you know, looking at doing that. So I'll be making more content with this car in the future. So until then, get out and drive them. Later.